Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we're here with the Alex and Mark Show. I'm Alex Badagian, and that is Professor Mark McIntyre, the one and the only.
Retired.
Retired, of course. So, we have, or you found a very interesting conversation starter, some article from Yale,
Yes.
some stupid Ivy League college that nobody really cares about unless you're like a judge or something.
Right.
In any case, it was an article on the decline in people seeing the purpose of higher education. It's more
Yeah.
of a political cudgel rather than a access to, I don't know, learning.
That's
So
exactly
we're
right.
going to talk all about that. We're also going to talk about how that has to do with the rise in nationalism, conservatism, all this lovely blah 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 blah
Wow.
blah
Wow.
blah.
Wow. Wow.
But
Wow.
we
Wow.
skip to the
Wow.
important stuff, money.
Yes. Woo.
Guys, we would love for you to donate to us. One-time donations, great.
Yeah.
We financially support ourselves through all sorts of weird things like this. It's one of the
Yeah.
ways that we survive, we eat.
Yeah.
Greatly, we would sincerely appreciate a monthly donation. That'd mean a huge amount to us. And also, liking, sharing, and subscribing and following, that also is a tremendous way of helping. Thank you
Right.
for doing it already. Please continue doing it. Anyway,
And if you're driving through the streets of Washington D.C. And you've given us money, Alex will clean your windshield. He will do that at a traffic light.
well,
At a traffic.
anyway, so let's talk a little bit about the article. Why don't you set the stage
Oh,
for us?
yeah, the article was very interesting because it highlights the tension that our entire American education system is now going through an earthquake. And the title of the article was "Excellence Without the Good." Excellence without the good, and I thought it caught my attention immediately because when you smash two large concepts like that together, you're going to get sparks. You're going to get really good stuff. And it was a well-written article. Essentially, folks, what it means is that our educational system was founded by the founders of the United States. It was founded on the principle that the purpose of education is to nurture the excellence of us as individuals. The theory being that if your talents, abilities, skills, and interests as an individual are perfected, are nurtured, are raised to a high level of culture and civic concern, then you will be interested in social justice. You will automatically embrace the fact that to whom much has been given, much is also expected in society. As most recently we saw with John F. Kennedy's presidency, that was the concept that really fueled the whole Kennedy period of which I was a part in the 1960s. We believe that those of us who have been given advantages in society, we had a responsibility. But now the whole thing's been tipped upside down. The whole thing has been upside down.
It really feels like we've beaten this horse to death, but I suspect that means we haven't beaten it enough because
No,
this
we
really
haven't.
is
No,
something
no,
worth
no.
tearing out your hair and screaming to the skies at.
No. And the
Uh,
reason we haven't beaten it to death is because most of the people who are listening to us, they have not experienced anything other than what's going on now. I mean, here's the geezer, there's the brat. So the geezer and the brat are talking to basically like your friends at George Mason University. All right. And so we
well,
haven't beaten it to death. We haven't beaten it
Well,
to death.
I mean, one example. I'm an opinion writer for the school newspaper, one of
Right.
them, and
Yeah.
our editor, he had, there's our editor for the op-eds.
Yeah.
He asked us to write about a new general ed curriculum that's coming out very soon.
Yeah.
So I did write. I gave my two thoughts on it. Everyone, I respected all the writers. They all did a great job. And they all mostly focused on what should be implemented, what should not be implemented. I didn't so much focus on that so much as I wanted to say, look, there's a long history to the general ed, which used to be liberal arts tradition. So
Right.
what are you trying to do with it? You're trying to make him a well-rounded scholar. Oh, okay, that's great. So your accountant over there will know a little bit about engineering, and your biologist over here will know a little bit about, English, Shakespeare, whatever. That is it's a great idea, but the thing is, what you're trying to do is you're trying to mash it all together in a way to sort of perpetuate your system. You're not so much trying to expand the individual, to grow the mind so that it loves, an English major will love mathematics or anything like that. You're just kind of force feeding that to them in these little square boxes. They're not capable. It's just a obstacle to their, the reason why most people are at school is to get a job. They're not interested in learning. And
Right.
that's what the problem is that colleges have turned into job factories. They're not places of higher learning. That's a joke. Nobody thinks of it.
No,
No.
and they're also not a place where individual excellence is prized anymore. And what I mean by individual excellence is simply this: that if you develop your skills, abilities, interests, and temperaments to the highest possible degree that you're capable of doing, and you're doing this at a college or university, this is why colleges and universities were established. The reason being is that once you have done this, you can go into any field. In the 50s, for instance, in the 1950s, a liberal arts college graduate, not even a master's degree, let alone a PhD. Uh, if you had an English degree or a history degree, you could get a top executive job on Madison Avenue for an advertising company. Now today you have to go to advertising school. You have to major in advertising and marketing at some silly college where you don't have any experience at all, but you don't know why you're doing it. The purpose of perfecting your excellence is, if you're an engineer, why are you an engineer? What are you doing as an engineer? Is this your life? Is this what's going to be your legacy? You're going to be remembered and by your family and your children for generations that you
And
were a
and and
good
look,
engineer?
for some people, there's nothing wrong with that. But a lot of people don't realize that. They still
No,
think that they're going
no,
to conquer the
no.
world and everyone's going to love them and they're going to save the whales, and that still is the mentality that they're going to save the universe with their college degree. And that very much is pushed by college, and I've seen it being pushed by college administrators, that you're
Yeah.
going to save the world. And you
Yes.
know
Yes.
what? God bless you if you do. God bless you if that's what you do. But the thing is, college is not preparing you to save the world. College is not doing that. I know it's been repeated over and over. You learn how to be a professional victim and blah blah blah. I'm not going to get into all that boomer whining nonsense.
Hmm.
Although there is a lot of truth to it,
Yes.
it's not the full picture.
No.
You hit the nail on the head. Is that colleges are not preparing you for, not even doing a good job of preparing you for the job environment or the work environment. What they're doing is they're sort of just dumping your professor's PhD dissertation in little bites. That's all
Yeah.
they're doing. Is
So that you can get a job. So that you can get a job.
so you
But
have
there's
bureaucratic slips, so it looks like you're qualified for the job.
Right, right. And the other factor that has led to this, I was reading another report this morning about the number of PhDs, tenured track PhDs, is declining rapidly, especially in the humanities. Especially in the humanities, they're increasing in engineering. They're increasing in all the STEM areas. Okay, which is great. I'm all in favor of that. I
Sure.
I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great idea. But why are you doing math? Why are you doing engineering? Why are you doing any of these things? Who are you as a person? Are you just a cog in a massive
That's
mindless collective, or are you an
that
individual?
that's the other thing, is that I really feel bad for the STEM for this. I think that the liberal arts students that are forced to take STEM, there's a little part of me that wants them to be kicked in the behind and do some, like, this is hard. Yes, it's hard. It's not your thing,
Right,
but you're learning
right,
just by the nature of it being tough. You're learning, and that's
right,
good. I
right.
feel bad for the STEM people because they don't understand why they're in their stupid philosophy class or their writing
Yeah,
class. They
no,
don't, and
no,
nobody's ever told them why it's important.
no, no,
Nobody ever does.
no. No. And for instance, the way math is taught is completely wrong. Math is a language about the world. Math is a language about the world. Plato believed that the universe was mathematics, was number. Okay, so how far we've gotten from Plato, when he thought that everything was number, to, oh, all you need to do is to solve for this, solve for x. That's all you have to do, and
Yeah,
then
I
take
can
x,
tell you
give it, take x, and
how many people, friends of mine, who tell me I hate math. Why? It's not useful in the real world, and they're exactly right. You do not need to solve for you know.
But it can be useful in the world. Have you seen animated music on YouTube? I
Well,
play
hold
animated
on.
music.
Like that's my point. Is that their problem is that it's not so much whether or not it can be used in day-to-day life. The point is that you recognize that there is the aesthetic beauty in the
Yes,
logic,
yes,
and
yes,
that in
yes.
itself develops your mind, being able to see the world, not just geometrically, but to see all the
If
beauty
I
of it.
if I were going to teach
Yeah.
mathematics, if I were going to teach mathematics, you know what I would use? Johann Sebastian's Bach, Art of the Fugue, Bach's Art of the Fugue, and I would have the animated version where on the screen you can see each note as a bubble. Okay, and you watch it and you say, "This is mathematical perfection." You take out one bubble and the whole thing falls apart. That's how
And
perfect it is.
And this is why they sentenced you to the philosophy department instead of the music department. Folks, we're running out of time,
Cheers, cheers,
but
Alex.
thank you very much for joining on. This is the Alex and Mark Show. Please like, subscribe, and share, and we'll hear from you soon.